Publications, Forms, and Records, Module 3.2. The objectives. Learners will be able to identify the forms required to apply for an airworthiness certificate, explain what is required for aircraft registration, and describe how to fill out an FAA Form 337 and what should be done with it once the form is completed. Airworthiness certificate indicates an aircraft's airworthiness. The FAA Form 8130-6 is used to apply for the airworthiness certificate. Advisory Circular 21-12 can be used as a guide to show us how to complete the FAA Form 8130-6. The airworthiness certificate rules may be issued by FAA personnel or designees. Certificate must be on board the aircraft and displayed at the cabin or cockpit entrance, and the certificate can be revoked if the aircraft fails to conform to type, design, or is not safe for continued operation. Two types of airworthiness certificates are the standard and the special airworthiness certificate. The 8100-2 is used for standard airworthiness certificate. These categories would be normal, utility, acrobatic, commuter, transport, manned, free balloon, and special classes. On the other hand, a special airworthiness certificate, you'd use the Form 8130-7. The categories are going to be primary, restricted, multiple, limited, light sport, experimental, special flight permit, or provisional. Aircraft registration. U.S. owned and based aircraft must be registered. Registration requires the FAA Form 8050-1 Aircraft Registration Application. This is a pre-printed form and can be obtained from the FSDO by contacting FAA Aircraft Registration Branch. Consists of a white, green, and pink sheet. The white and green original copies must be submitted to the FAA Aircraft Registration Branch. The pink copy is your temporary authority to operate your aircraft and is only valid for 90 days. Aircraft registration requires the completion of an 8050-1, evidence of ownership such as a bill of sale, and a registration fee. The 8050-3 certificate of aircraft registration is issued after the successful completion of the application. Part 91.203 pink application copy or actual certificate of registration must be kept on board the aircraft during operation. Lost, damaged registrations can be replaced by contacting the FAA Aircraft Registration Branch and providing aircraft data, replacement certificate fee, explanation, and reason for replacement certificate. Radio station licenses are required for aircraft that are flown outside the United States. Prior to '96, all aircraft were required to have the FCC license. This was an FCC or Federal Communications Administration requirement, not the FAA. FSGA 96-06 became effective in '96. The Flight Standard Information Bulletin, or FSIB, eliminated the requirement for domestic aircraft to have radio station licenses on board. FAA Form 337, Major Repair and Alteration, is to be used whenever a major repair or alteration is completed. The FAA 337 is to be used whenever a major repair or alteration is accomplished, with one exception. Instead of a Form 337 for a major repair, a certified repair station could use a signed and dated work order for the maintenance release. After the completion of the 337, the original 337 is provided to the owner-operator. A copy is sent to the FAA within 48 hours. If we're going to install fuel tanks in a cabin or in a cargo bay, a third copy is also required, and that copy would stay on board the aircraft. It is good practice to make a copy or retain a copy of these 337s for your files once the work is completed. Filling out the 337. Refer to Advisory Circular 43.9-1 for instructions. Item 1 is taken directly from the aircraft data plate. The tail number should be compared to the aircraft registration form. Item 2 is the name and address on the AC Form 8050-3 Certificate of Registration. Item 3, when no existing approved data for the repair or alteration, the technician can request the FSDO or Principal Maintenance Inspector review the data and grant field approval. Section 4 is left blank when there is already an approved FAA data to use. Item 4, mark an X to indicate a repair or alteration. Refer to Part 43, Appendix A. Item 5, no entry unless the repair or alteration is done on an engine, propeller, or other appliance. Item 6 is the agency's name who's doing the work in Box B. Item 7 is to be completed by an IA or authorized repair station individual. Item 8, description of the work accomplished. This must include reference material, approved data, accurately describe the work accomplished, and do not forget to fill out the nationality and registration marks along with the date, especially if it's a two-sided document. If you do not copy this front and back on one sheet of paper, make sure that the end number is on both pages so that if they get separated, we can get them back together. Airworthiness certificates indicate an aircraft conforms to its type design and is in safe operating condition. They're issued by the FAA and must be displayed on the aircraft at all times. There's two types of airworthiness certificates: the standard certificate, which requires an FAA Form 8100-2, and a special airworthiness certificate, which requires an FAA Form 8130-7. U.S. owned and based aircraft must be registered, which require an FAA Form 8050-1, evidence of ownership and registration fee. Aircraft with radios that are flown outside the United States are required to have radio station licenses. The FAA Form 337 is used whenever a major repair or a major alteration is completed. The original form should be provided to the owner-operator, a copy should be sent to the FAA, and a third copy is required to be kept on the aircraft if fuel tanks are installed in the cabin or in the cargo area.